The Little Dog Laughed is a comedy. It is a kind of contemporary morality play, I would say. But it's my favorite type of comedy. It's smart and it has a bite. And it is, I guess you would say, a satire or a spoof or a jab at Hollywood morals and Hollywood ethics. And it's about this character named Mitchell Green, played by Chad Allen, who is a closeted Hollywood actor on the verge of superstardom, on the verge of a huge, huge blockbuster movie. And he is in New York for an awards ceremony, and he hires a gay-for-pay male prostitute named Alex, played by Mark Fisher. And they coincidentally, happen chance, they fall in love in a kind of series of scenes. They fall in love unexpectedly. And it centers on the obstacles, of course, that causes. And the other main players are Mitchell's agent, Diane, played by Erica Rolfsford, and she is a high-power lesbian Hollywood agent who is kind of a ruthless energy about keeping him on his ambition goals and keeping him on path for his superstardom. And the fourth character is Ellen, who is Alex, the male prostitute's kind of friend with benefits girlfriend. And she is a kind of, how do I explain Ellen? She is a young woman who is not a prostitute, but she is kind of kept by this older English gentleman. And put these four people together and you have a kind of unusual and quirky and sharp comedy by Douglas Carter Beane, who wrote Xanadu recently on Broadway and a number of other plays that he's a very, very popular American playwright today. What I like about Douglas is that he is as candid, as intelligent, as ridiculous, fun, witty as his plays. He's very, very open and vivid as a person. He tells you what he thinks, and he writes that in that same kind of candid quality. He particularly has a fondness for this play because he has a kind of personal stake in it as he lived through. There's a character in the play called He Meaning Him, who is a theater writer whose play gets picked up for this movie. And the obstacles that Douglas faced when he was in that position inspired The Little Dog Laughed. I think the most surprising thing about The Little Dog Laughed is the extent that people will go to, the level, the places people will go to achieve their ambitions and their goals and their needs. And it goes to places that almost seem melodramatic at times, but are actually quite based in reality. And I think another little surprise, which I really love about the play, is of course the central conceit that these two people from these two different worlds fall in love and the turmoil that causes. And in fact, the character of the hustler, the gay-for-pay young man, ends up being probably the most morally astute character. He has the highest moral ground when all is said and done, and I think that's a lovely surprise. And I think I can say that without giving too much of the plot away and how we get there. But you would think that, oh, the prostitute is the person who would have the lowest moral ground, but actually he's not. And in fact, Douglas likes to say we're all prostitutes on some level, and I think that question and that theme is what's a lot of fun and creates a lot of the humor and a lot of the surprise of the play. Well, the happiness or the pursuit of happiness is a theme that weaves through the whole play, and all these characters are all in their own way seeking to be happy, seeking happiness, and what is the price of happiness, and what is the price one person will pay to achieve that happiness. Those are the questions the play asks and tries to answer in different ways. And also another theme tied into happiness is deception, because oftentimes to achieve happiness, the play says, there may have to be some deception involved. And that could go into kind of bold, forward deception and in a kind of negative way, self-deception in another way. But those themes go all the way through. And, you know, what Diane says is that all it takes is a little deception. And I think that that's a really kind of thread that weaves the antics of the play together. So historically, there is this separation between the world of the theater and the world of film and television and Hollywood morals and Hollywood structure. And so, like, of course, and there's this kind of antagonism that goes on. Like the people in the theater, we people in the theater always say, well, you know, if you go to Hollywood and you go to the movies and make all that money, you're selling yourself out. You're selling out to millions and millions of dollars and People magazine articles, but you're not really an artist because you're selling out. You know, there are a few great films, but movies and television, you know, it's, I'm saying that a little tongue-in-cheek. I hope that that you out there are getting that. And then the people in Hollywood think we're crazy in the theater, that we're all, you know, crazy, you know, blind artists who, like, will do anything for no money. We create art and we create plays and we do theater, but we're really not getting enough for that work. And what we have in common, actually, is, I think, is that ambition when it comes down to it. I mean, as much as people in the theater seem to think we are above that, we all want hope for a Broadway play or a Tony Award or to be recognized. And I like to think that's because we hope that our work will reach more people and that our artistic voice will be heard more, but there's also a touch of wanting a little bit of fame, a little bit of immortality. And I think people in film also really want that too, although there's a seduction of money and houses and cars and clothes and red carpets, you know, I think that they would probably say that they also want some artistic integrity, or at least some people in Hollywood. So I think that central conflict is made fun of. In fact, Diane says in one of her speeches about turning off cell phones and problems, cell phones in the theater, that in Hollywood we don't have that problem. We've just stopped doing theater altogether. I mean, choices were made. Diane says that, which is again Douglas Carter Beane taking Hollywood jabbing at the theater. But that conflict of theater people, and there's an unseen character of the playwright called he, meaning him, who represents the morals and the integrity of the American theater, and he makes fun of that too. So he makes fun of everybody.